Most of you will already know by now of Amazon's HQ2 announcement and the eventual creation of the 50,000 high-paying jobs. And all this in a context where Amazon has been relatively quiet throughout 2018 in terms of jobs creation. Now, you can imagine that in order to keep up with this hiring spree, they must also ramp up their recruitment marketing game. And for this, one of the latest enhancements I noticed was to their jobs website, where they introduced a guide to help applicants to learn more about Amazon's hiring process. There are 6 parts in the new guide focusing on the areas with the most questions. Starting with the online application, there is some pretty basic content for people that are unfamiliar with Amazon, from how to apply to resetting the password to your Amazon applicant account. An interesting bit of information here is Amazon as a peculiar company doesn't allow cover letters in the application process. Also useful to know is how Amazon explicitly states that they do not answer to all applicants. However, from experience, they are between the most responsive of all businesses of their size, and they usually get back to the vast majority of applicants. And last but not least, international applicants are welcome even if they require a work permit. The second part is about the phone interview, and here it's quite easy to spend your day browsing through the content and its external references. The flywheel is an interesting read, but not a mandatory one, that explains how Amazon thinks of its business. The 14 leadership principles are the bread and butter of this whole section and the Amazon behavioral interview in general. Then they give some really basic information about behavioral interviewing and some links to other sections if you're interviewing for a technical role. Useful to know is they should get back to you after the phone interview within 2 days. The third section, the on-site interview, begins with the main topics presented in the phone interview, the culture and the principles. Then it gets into more detail with the behavioral interviewing and the STAR questions. The content is quite basic and contains no real-life examples. Also interesting to know is the reply timeline after the on-site is usually 5 business days. Next is the software development section with some, again, pretty general information about what is expected from a candidate. It surely doesn't feel like this section was done by a technical person, and it is, in my opinion, one of the poorest documented sections from the 6. Then there is the FAQ section with some rather general information, and not particularly useful if you ask me, such as do you hire people to write Amazon reviews? And then finally, the 6th section has some more information from the previous ones, notably about Amazon's customer obsession, and interesting here is what makes a peculiar section with references to their shareholder letters. So if you're interested in some Amazon branded hiring advice, I'd encourage you to go check out their website, because it will take you half an hour at most to go through all of their content, and this is of course if you don't go into external links. And one particularly interesting section there is they give you some examples of behavioral questions you might be asked during the interview. And as a closing note, I'm also working on a video to help you better answer these types of questions by linking them with the 14 leadership principles, and also exposing some of the most common mistakes that candidates do while being asked questions during the Amazon interview. Thank you for watching.